the well, if we do choose to go there, then you can also kind of have those CC effects, but it looks like we might also get a Widow as well on one of these teams.
Yeah, well, this happened to me yesterday. I took that opening graphic to mean we were going to well. We're not. We are, in fact, going to Lighthouse. And as you can see, there's a very mobile Wrecking Ball already on the point. Tuber on the Pharaoh that we were talking about, expecting to see them come out on Suburban Burster Gaming, coming out with this heavy DPS comp. And Team CC with another sort of interesting composition, ball-focused with a Widowmaker. Nobody really engaging just yet.
Well, this is about what we expected from Bubble Burster Gaming. You do see that triple DPS there with the Widow, the high pick potential with the Pharah as well, and the Sombra. So you've got that EMP on top of things, but Team CC making a quick work of things.
Yeah, TCC got a quick couple there, but Innovation let Tuber get a little bit too close. Tuber themselves falling very, very low as Climax comes back into the fight, grappling over the top, not quite able to find an angle to actually hit anybody with. Tuber has managed to pick up their Mercy Pocket again, so they're going to be keeping alive and in the fight. Team CC still in this, still in control. However, they do lose Fearless already, and we just need a couple of picks on the back of that. That's the main tank down. A lot of your sustain and healing down, having lost that big health pool. So that's an opening that Bubble Burster Gaming can absolutely use there. Nice direct rocket from Tuber onto CO. Rick finding the follow-up there, and Jihan getting in with a melee kill onto Innovation. Innovation probably shouldn't really be in range of a Wrecking Ball like that, but Tuber now out on the hunt. He spotted them trying to get away. That sleep not quite managing to connect, and Tuber turning around, not even watching that rocket connect, so confident that was going to happen. And Bubble Burster Gaming have flipped control of the point now.
Well, this is pretty typical of a high damage composition here. Bubble Burster Gaming did give up that original percentage on the point to Team CC, but they were able to come back with that comeback. Tuba going into the backline and doing so much work there, and now they're going to be able to use that Pharah barrage coming up very quickly here. Team CC doesn't have too much at the moment coming up on that EMP, but they might have that answer with that Mercy Valkyrie coming up as well.
Yeah, but still, we're looking at potentially a big heavy combo here with the EMP barrage. Of course, losing Tuber will absolutely take you out of that equation. So, really caught on the back foot now with the Burster Gaming as Innovation brings up the infra sites and not quite able to close the, well, in fact, closing the distance too quickly. Although Innovation does get the better of that exchange eventually. JWJ getting the equalizer, taking the answering Widow out of the equation. But meanwhile, Tuber, unchecked, manages to get 2-1 with a barrage, but once again, comes in range of Innovation, gets quickly knocked out of the equation. Bubble Burster Gaming still in control, despite kills coming online for Innovation. They have ultimates to play with, but so far they keep coming into these fights very much underwhelming in terms of who is left on the point ready to contest. But out comes the Minefield from Fearless now. They think this is their time to take possession. They've stopped the enemy Wrecking Ball of Jihun getting onto point, and have, in fact, flipped the point back around. So they still have a couple of tools to play with, but they're 2 down already in the fight, far away, trying to do their best to keep people alive, playing out of range of danger, not quite able to get it. JWJW getting another kill onto Rick and Tuber as well, who really should not be in range of a Tracer at this point. Zihi able to bring Tuber back into the fight, but Team CC still in control.
Still in control, and hey, they're gonna be able to get some percentage here. Excellent pulse bomb, and you also seeing a couple of follow-ups from the rest of their teammates, but I don't know, that might flip back over. We gotta see them group up at some point, and that's not something that we've kind of seen from either of these teams. So it's been a little bit of a clown fiesta with everybody fighting each other in 1v1 battles all over the map.
I mean, this is the thing, like, when you're running these mobile DPS compositions, you can afford to have duels, 2v2s, 3v3s, whatever.
Absolutely.
As long as you're confident you can win those particular matchups, then great, you're in a position to do it. We do have ultimates online. In fact, we did just see the Nano Boost get thrown out onto Tuber, looking for targets, not actually able to find one, and that was going to go onto the adaptive shield only of Fearless, who does get hacked. Couple of kills coming on the back of that. Ji-Hun finds far away as well, but Innovation, Fearless, JWJ, even CO getting in on the action on the kill feed, bringing far away back into it, but a huge Ji-Hun gets rid of 2 snipers. Climax with the follow-up takes JWJ out as well. They are going to come back in and flip this at 99.76. Team CC have maybe 1 or 2 more goes at this.
Well, what I'm worried about is that Team CC has an answer. They know exactly how they're going to take the point back, and that's by Sia going in and making a massive lights out in their backline. If they're able to get the Mercy, if they're able to get the Ana, one of those supports, then they're really going to be sitting pretty here. But Tuba, you can kind of see they're trying to stay out of that line of fire there just in case, waiting for that EMP.
Yeah, and they know that they're so close to the barrage as well that if they can survive that... EMP goes straight to Tuber. They know exactly who they've got to get out. And the pulse bomb in over the top. Climax and Rick, though, get a quick 2, and it's not going to be enough for Team CC. Bubble Burster Gaming hold on to the point and take us to 1-0 so far.
Oh, it was too late. I
Yeah.
loved the strategy that Team CC had in order to deal with some of the tools that Bubble Burster Gaming were kind of able to fire back with, but killing Tuba was too late. They needed to have somebody touch the point, and the coordination wasn't there in order to make that happen, unfortunately. But I like what I saw so far, Phil. This is definitely going to be a match to watch. Both of these teams fired up and ready to go as we move into Well. I would like to see them stick on some of their sim compositions. Talked about this before, about maybe seeing that Widow and that Pharah on Well before we get debated and went to Lighthouse. But definitely a great composition to run here. Bubble Burster Gaming already used that to great fruition on that first map. And so I expect them to use that Well even to a higher percentage here.
Yeah. Oh, Jihan,
Oh,
what
no.
happened there, buddy?
Oh, or maybe not.
Right off the
I
side,
switched too
maybe going for the hard reset. Innovation crouching here on the Doomfist, waiting for a target to come into range. So far, nobody really wanting to actually make a start of this fight. I think Bubble Burster Gaming rightfully holding on, waiting for Jihan to come in and correct that mistake so they can go in at full numbers. The point hasn't. Oh,
Wow.
Climax instantly find JWJ. Innovation coming in around the side, looking for a squishy target. But again, quite a mobile team, able to get out of the way of that Doomfist. You can hear in the background that initiation coming in, but it's going to be Rick and Tuba. Innovation getting a rocket to the face, taking them out of the equation. Only Jihan falling, and that's 2 for Jihan so far this map. Only 1 to the enemy.
And that's kind of okay. You have your mercies. He's able to correct that, that one. And it's okay if you sacrifice yourself in order to get that point, that greater cause there. Team CC hasn't made any real changes at the moment. They have a triple DPS of their own, though. JWJ is on that Tracer, but is that going to be enough to deal with the power that's at Bubble Burster Gaming?
Yeah, hack onto Tuba, not able to get the follow-up kill onto it, but they've got to watch out for that. A little bit of coordination will see their wings well and truly clipped, but Climax does find a bead onto Faraway. Climax actually been performing really, really well here so far. Of course, not able to make that kill stick. The Mercy there to bring Faraway back into the equation, still looking for this angle. Nobody quite willing to pop their heads. We did see Mercy nearly walking to the line of sight there. Tuba has the barrage in the back line, over the top, finds 2. Does get knocked out of the sky by Sears, saying see you later on that. But honestly, it doesn't matter too much when you've got a 2-for-1 on the barrage. Hack not needed onto Fearless. A and B able to just get the kill themselves.
That was enough of a numbers advantage that Tuba was okay to, die there, essentially. And then the rest of Bubble Burster Gaming, there was so much damage coming out from the barrage that they could just finish up those kills. So they're already approaching that sweet point, Phil. They might only have one more fight left, but they're going to have to fight through this EMP. I want to see Rick use it first. Rick, come on.
Well, there is the EMP coming out first from Rick. He's going to catch 3 JWJ. A hacked Tracer is very much a dead Tracer. Fearless not able to use that minefield. Already down in the fight. Is going to have to back out. They've got one more shot at this. They've got 2 ults to do it with. It might just be enough. It's going to rely on them stopping Jihan getting the minefield on point, which is going to make things a lot harder for them.
Just a little bit harder, but the point is so large on Well that you're able to kind of work around that as much as you can. Oh, and
EMP from Seer finds 4. Jihan gets the better of Fearless, who dies with the minefield intact. Tuba goes the 1-for-1 trade. Innovation showing up now, getting 2. Can they get enough to flip this point over the control? Starting to tick up. Looks like we might not see the recontest coming in. It's just Jihan. In fact, no longer on the point. And at 99-0, Team CC finally present in this fight.
Finally present, but is the pulse bomb and are the Hammond mines that Team CC have going to be enough for another Tuba barrage? We just saw how powerful that can really be against Team CC because of some of those, backline non-mobile heroes there, like the Ana particularly, and you've also got Rick too that can go in for a big hack.
This is so bad for Tuba. Team CC know that Tuba is a big playmaker for the team, and so he can't pop his head without getting hacked, without getting just a Widow shot to the dome. They're making it so hard for him to play this Pharah here, and obviously with the barrage still online, ready to go, probably wants to stick with it.
Well, Climax can do a little bit to be able to contest Innovation on Team CC. You do have those Widow battles happening every once in a while around the point here, but Tuba is going to need to come in and make something happen with that barrage like they've done before, or at this point, Team CC might be able to take it, but ooh.
Well, that's going to open things right up. Nice bit of pressure, and the kill from Jihan gets rid of Innovation. Buys a lot of space for Tuba to come in with the barrage. Climax getting another one on to Sia coming in around the point. Barrage goes in, finds both supports and the Tracer. They survive, get a 3K out of that barrage, and they flip the point 99-63. no contest possible coming out from Team CC. That is going to take us to
Oh
2
my gosh.
and 0. Bubble Burster Gaming prove themselves to be a real force to be reckoned with.
Oh, that was even better than what I could have expected from that barrage. You know, the way that Bubble Burster Gaming really played that one in order to pigeonhole them into that area to get it so big, that was amazing. So great work, amazing start to the series.
To bring us a bit more info on what we just saw, let's throw this over to Naori.
Thanks, guys. Oh, wow. Bubble Burster really showing up, exceeding expectations on this one, but unfortunately that means that CC are not quite living up to the expectation that we had. What I did kind of find with the compositions that they were running, and this is an important thing to note, neither of those compositions have heavy point presence. You don't have a Reinhardt or an Orisa, somebody that kind of anchors themselves to the point. So it really relies so heavily on the pick potential. You need to be getting tons and tons of picks so that you can maintain your point control. The DPS are playing exceptionally well on both teams, so that makes it incredibly important for the supports to always be there, making sure that they can continue to get the picks that they need. What's also important to note here, CC, they're relying a little bit too much on control with very little coordination and are getting heavily punished because Bubble Burster, they are relying very heavily on a controlled aggression, and it's so easy for them to punish CC, particularly because they're so uncoordinated.
What do you think about Bubble Burster Gaming relying so much on what seems to be Tuba and Tuba's performance and Tuba barrages, though?
I mean, it's similar to what's going on with their relying on innovation. Nekrich, you can follow up on that one.
Well, I think that innovation had so many picks on, you know, Team CC, and the unfortunate part about that is that there really wasn't any follow-up. I saw multiple times when we were on Lighthouse that, you know, innovation gets picks, but where was the rest of the team? The rest of the team was battling in those 1v1s or kind of all across the point. And what Naori mentioned was that there really isn't any point presence. So how do you kind of have to beat those 1v1s in order to actually kind of go back and take the point? It's just a tough situation.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Naori, for talking us through exactly what's going on. But we're going to take a very short break before we move into our next map. But don't go too far, because we're going to be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Here we go, getting ready for map number 2. We are, of course, going to be going over to Volt Sky Industries, our 2CP or Assault map for today. So, Nekrich, based on what we've seen from these teams, what are we expecting to see from them on this map?
I'm expecting to see a pretty solid defense there from Bubble Burster Gaming. They had so much high pick potential with their, you know, triple DPS compositions, the Widow, the Pharah, the Sombra, all doing work in their own ways. I think also particularly the Sombra getting into the backline and forcing Team CC to make a decision on who to focus on. Was it going to be the backline with the Sombra, or was it going to be the front line with the aerial assault coming in from not only Widow, but also Pharah? That was a huge kind of decision there. We'll see what kind of happens as they do exit spawn, but it does look like,
Team CC making a bunch of changes. Initially rolled out on the Roadhog there, which I think was maybe just to do a bit of fishing for Rick on the Sombra, who you could see up against the spawn doors. But yeah, they're going to be coming out on the 3-2. No, in fact, it's 2-2-2. We've got it's almost a dive, really, isn't it? We've got the Winston, we've got the Diva. Feels like the old days.
It does feel like the old days, and I actually like the pairing of the Sombra and the Tracer together for Team CC. Innovation was so mechanically skilled with that Widowmaker that they might be able to get a good hack, but Tuba strikes first blood.
Yeah, straight away, and of course, taking out a key part of this setup with the Ana down. You have only the Lucio healing left to do. You need to get out or get picks, because otherwise you're going to be trapped in here, and you're going to feed over ult charge. Tuba already 56% and climbing towards that barrage, and we've seen just how deadly they can be with those. Team CC looking a little scattered right now.
They do look a little bit scattered, but they're trying to figure out how best to attack this scenario. It's a complicated one, right? Not only do you have those kind of 3 different vantage points that the DPS are getting onto your team, but you also have to deal with Jaehoon going into your backline too with Rick, and then also having to deal with getting the supports out of there. Ooh,
that was such a great predict from JWJ, finding Rick there with the stealth still up, managing to get a clip in far away, evening things out again with Dihi going down. Innovation over on the Sombra now rather than the Widow we saw last round getting the better of Climax. This has actually been a really good opening for Team CC. It took them a little while to get it going, but Innovation able to find Jihun and Chuba in pretty quick order, and they're going to be coming into this with a bunch of ults. This is really great for Team CC.
It is really great because that means that there's snowball potential, and the biggest thing that kind of sticks out to me, Phil, is the fact that Innovation has that EMP. And unfortunately for Bubble Burster Gaming, they're making a bunch of swaps here. They had some good ultimates in their bank, and now they're resetting in favor of more of that triple tank, triple support composition. PkMnPanda will do a little bit in order to stall out this potential snowball, but ooh, JWJ might have done that for them instead.
Yeah, I wonder, is this we're seeing a reset from JWJ, or is this the second map in a row where someone has just mistimed a jump? No, it looks like it was just a mistime on the jump. That's unfortunate. It gives BBG quite a long time to get in and get their defenses a bit more strongly set up.
It will give them a little bit of time there, and I think that was the Hail Mary that Bubble Burster Gaming was waiting for. Not only have, you know, it is AMB now up to that nano boost in order to save somebody from the EMP, but it hits now.
Speaking of it, EMP comes in, hits 3, doesn't get Jihun, who is able to put that minefield onto the point. We also see the sound barrier coming out from Seo. Primal Rage out from Fearless, managing to get Climax. JWJ getting AMB at the end, and a Angry Monkey on the point, looking to try and mouthburst what is left of Bubble Burster Gaming. This has been a much different Team CC. These guys look really scary. They've been able to just brute force this, and we've still got a self-destruct left to go. We've still got an Ana left to go. Team CC, lots to play with in this fight. Here comes the self-destruct, not able to find anything out of that kill, but did buy just a smidge more camp progress. Out comes another minefield from Jihun, has bought a bit of space. Team CC have to back off here. They can't afford to press into that minefield. So Nana Boost comes out onto Fearless, and we've got Jihun in the back looking to get a couple of kills, maybe not quite able to find anything, being pressured out by Fearless as well. Innovation in the meantime has managed to find Climax, and JWJ still doing work on the Tracer, managing to chase down a lot of these kills, managing to focus down targets, not quite able to get behind the shield of the Brig there to keep things going. In the meantime, Chuba, now relegated back onto Brig, has managed to get a kill, and BBG finally managed to blast CC away from this point. It took them a long time to do, though.
It took them a long time, and also in the process, Team CC was able to get 2 entire points of progress on point B. So the Angry Monkey had absolutely no fear leading the charge in order to get that percentage. Look at how far they came, Phil. 87.5%. And they now have another EMP to use for this next push.
Yeah, but of course, we're going to be getting into a self-destruct and a nano and a sound barrier in this next fight. So unless this EMP hits Zihi in this fight, it's actually going to be very hard for this EMP to do much. There's the EMP, and it doesn't get Zihi. Hasn't had to pop the primal. No, sound barrier comes out now. We also saw the nano boost used in that fight. Big sleep coming out onto Fearless, and the anti, meaning none of that damage getting healed out. Sound barrier beautifully timed out from Seo, keeps Fearless alive. And in the fight, self-destruct also. They're using a lot of ults in this fight. Self-destruct finding one. They only have Faraway's Transcendence left in the fight. Jihun gets hacked. Fearless able to follow up on that with a bit of help from Innovation and take Jihun down. They've just got to get these last few members out, and they've done it. Team CC are coming out of this with a big old time.
Big time bank, and now, what is Bubble Burster Gaming going to be able to do against that? Obviously, their defense was very strong, particularly on point B, to be able to buy some time off of that clock after Team CC made so much progress. But is it composition that they've kind of been relying on at this point going to be enough to deal with this new and kind of scary Team CC this round?
I think one of the things that we have seen from BBG is they're relatively flexible. Not just in the match we've seen today, but in matches last week as well. You know, this Widow Pharah combo that they have is great, and they're really strong in it, but they can run the 3-2-1. I don't think we've yet seen the traditional goats out of them yet, but it wouldn't surprise me to learn that that's well within their wheelhouse. So I have faith that Bubble Burster Gaming can find ways to adapt to whatever Team CC are defending with.
Well, I wasn't a traditional, goats per se, but it was a variant of a triple tank, triple support when they knew that Team CC was going to be coming in hot for point B, right? So they had the D.Va, they had the Zarya, didn't really pair those heroes in quite the way that we expected them to, but I think that the D.Va bombs that Bubble Burster Gaming had were really fundamental in order to keep Team CC at bay. So I love the choices that were made there from the D.Va player, and I'm really excited to see exactly what they're going to do coming onto this attack.
Yeah, I think I want to talk about Jihun a little bit because
Yeah.
I think people that are watching Jihun play are going to start to draw some fairly natural comparisons between Seeds and Armeng.
Uh-huh.
So doing really good work on the
Oh,
Wrecking
yeah.
Ball, but I'd love to see what else they've got in the lineup. Team CC coming out with an Orisa defense here on the high ground.
They are? Yeah. That's an interesting choice here from Team CC. We haven't seen too much of Orisa play, but I really like Orisa as a hero just to defend because you're kind of just reliant on buying some time here. And Team CC has such a good time bank that whatever they can kind of come out with for this point A here is going to be really good.
Yeah, and I like the swap here. Tuba coming over onto the Hamzah to give themselves a little bit more information. Innovation coming in, looking down. Sorry, Jihun coming in looking for the knockdown, not quite able to find it, but this is good. This is smart. This is, let's dislodge this bunker. Let's find some information about it, because at the minute, you're buying space for Innovation to do work on the Widowmaker. Even just using the Brick Shield as well.
You are, and it's not just that, but it's Fearless. Fearless using those Orisa pulls is a really strong choice here for Team CC, because look at the mobility that Bubble Burster Gaming has. You can disrupt Jaehoon, you can disrupt Tuba, you can disrupt Climax, Rick. You also saw Zihi a little bit earlier there, and Innovation gets to land those shots.
Yeah, Jihun did manage to get out of that sticky situation, but unfortunately we did lose A and B in the process. Not quite able to get that one tick that they almost captured there. So 2 minutes 37 seconds left to go on the clock. Bubble Burster Gaming not close to any ultimates just yet.
No, not quite there, but they're working on it, and Bubble Burster Gaming is buying their time at this point, but they haven't been able to move in as they've been getting picked off by Innovation, and they don't want to walk into those Widow sites right now, or that EMP that TMCC has in their pocket.
Yeah, so we've also got the Valkyrie coming in as well. Jihun once more going in for the displace. Not quite able to find it. Just gets to the Orb of Discord for their trouble. Tuba coming up nice, close and personal with the Hamzah pick. Is able to just get out of the way. But Sia on the back line has managed to find an angle. Hasn't quite manifested a kill out of any of that yet. But Tuba able to get one, which is the opening. Sio is down. We lose JWJ as well. This is where Team CC are going to start to fall over unless we see something absolutely miraculous, because Jihun in the back finds Fireway. We lose Sia as well, and that is going to be Bubble Burster Gaming coming out of that with the point capped and with nearly four ultimates looking at it for this next push.
Well, the reason why that push was so successful is because they took Innovation out of that fight. I love the swap that BBG made, which was to, put Tuba onto that Hanzo. I feel like I'm walking back in time, Phil. I haven't seen Double Sniper work as a composition in quite a long time.
But it used to be a thing that was run all the time on All
yeah,
Stars. I'm glad
absolutely.
they can make this work.
Absolutely. So, and they're making it work here. The Dragons are going to be one way to kick this off.
Yeah, big sleep allows for the follow-up. Tuba taking Fearless out of the fight already. Jihun has used the minefield ready to buy the time some space, and that's going to be another follow-up with JWJ going well. Not quite able to get that environmental kill, but does buy a lot of space for Tuba to get in. This is the Tuba show. Look at Tuba on 3 on 4. What can this guy not do? This is absolutely massive, and what looked like for an amazing time back for Team CC might actually be beaten by Bubble Burster Gaming on their attack. Another Dragon out already, zones team off, and that is going to be BBG coming in here with another hefty time bank.
Tuba might have been a one-man band at that point, right? That was ridiculous, but
yeah,
I'm really...
In order to show us the tune that one-man band was playing, we're going to go throw it over to Naori. Let us have it, Naori. What was that about?
So this is interesting, and I've enjoyed watching the juxtaposition between the attack and the defense, because BGG, on the defense, they were playing it just a little bit too fast and getting hella punished for it, because they couldn't build up their ultimates and set up for the counter engage. And that was kind of why they got completely snowballed on second point. On their attack, though, they really slowed it down. It took them a little bit longer to take that first point. But once they started moving, that's when we saw that Team CC were having kind of the same issue. They had to swap off their composition onto something else, and they didn't have the ultimates available to them to turn that fight around. It's so important on these 2CP type maps that you have that in the bank for your second point defense, because as we mentioned in the last game, this being on live patch means that you don't have that immediate respawn once first point is captured. So you need to be thinking ahead. And if the attacking team is playing well enough and playing if they're playing well enough to keep their ultimates going, then that's going to be an issue for the defense.
Okay, thank you very much, Naori. But here we go right back over into gameplay, and Team CC on the attack once again. Bubble Burster Gaming with a couple of swaps. Climax coming in on the Soldier 76.
Ooh, that's going to be a spicy choice here because there's so much mobility that a soldier has, and you also have really just kind of stable damage, right? If your tracking is good, which we've seen from these DPS, it can't get any better than this, then Climax is going to be able to put in a lot of work here on that soldier, and he also got the healing pods as well from Soldier 76. Ooh.
Oh, Chuba, I think that was maybe a little bit of a misfire with their own rocket. AMB gets far away. Chuba gets brought back into the fight, and Climax has control of the high ground, which is exactly what you want if you're a soldier. 76, and they had the rocket on cooldown. Takes Fearless, an aborted dive, not going to work out. Double Burst of Gaming looking pretty strong here, and a bit of a stagger onto Seal also.
Well, not only were those kills able to stop Team CC from advancing onto the point, but they're also going to build up ultimate charge for Bubble Burster Gaming's DPS line, and Jaehoon just taking a nap after all that hard work, right?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a tiring job being a little ball and a little hamster with a big ball. Farway's able to take him out, bit of help there, stop the damage coming in to chase Fearless away, so they are down their main tank already. Obviously, we back pretty quickly. Nano Boost goes over onto Fearless, who is looking for those targets. Farway is able to find Zihi as well, and the dive coming in once again. We see the sleep come out, but it's not quite enough. They managed to get away from that. Climax has the tactical visor, has had to use it, and has managed to find the D-Mech with a kill coming out there onto Zihi as well. But Team CC, they're the ones with the kills on their side at the minute. Nice dive with a bit of help from JWJ from Fearless is going to take BBG off the point. Team CC coming in just over a minute left. They're going to get a bit of a boost on their next attack, but 1 minute 41 seconds, couple of ults to play with, could be good for them.
I gotta say, Phil, I think that while the DPS and the tank line have been stars of Team CC, Farway might take the cake for me on this one. There's Zenyatta a little bit to be desired. We did see them die with Transcendence after BBG was trying to take that point, but look at those antis. Look at those healing.
Yeah, and we saw the barrage from Chuba. Sadly, only one kill coming out there before they're taken down. But clearly a big enough pick because Bubble Burst and Gaming just say nope to Team CC, and Team CC going right back to spawn. Gotta rethink how they're gonna do this.
All right, Team CC making me eat my words just a little bit there. But I do stand by the fact that Farway is just been really phenomenal for this team, especially on that Ana pick. But there's not too much that you can do if you're Ana against a massive barrage coming out from Bubble Burster Gaming. But both sides making some swaps here, understanding that Volskaya Point B is going to be a lot more brawl-centric. So both deciding to add that Brigitte into their rosters.
Yeah, interesting variant on the Protect the McCree strategy from Bubble Burster Gaming. Obviously, haven't got a big, hefty main tank there to shield him the whole time. Jihoon comes in, uses the minefield, uses that isolation to find JWJ, and also gets the nano boost, I think, on top of that. Not quite able to get a lot of kills with it, but Team CC very wisely run away from the Wrecking Ball and just leave him sleeping there. That's, yeah, you know, you've earned your rest. You can come back.
I mean, even though Wrecking Ball does have that large hitbox, it's been fun to see those sleeps get traded back and forth between A and B on Bubble Burster Gaming and then Farway on Team CC. But Team CC, they're highlighted, Phil. They have all the ultimates in the bank here. They might be able to make something happen in this last couple of seconds.
Innovation looking for the EMP, only finds Rick, but a huge amount of follow-up is going to see them taken down. And a massive anti-nade out from far away ensures that so many of Bubble Burster Gaming cannot receive that vital healing. And with those two abilities, that one ultimate, that one cooldown, they have absolutely cemented their presence on the point. They may go all the way to capping this into overtime. What a set of plays from Team CC.
Woo. This is getting heated up here. I mean, Team CC in the brink of things was able to get something done. And unfortunately for Bubble Burster Gaming, they just didn't have a good answer to that whole slate of ultimates. You saw that Zihi on Bubble Burster Gaming did change over to the Lucio, but it was too little too late at that point. Only 30 seconds left of the clock, and you only had half your way to sound barrier, so that wasn't going to get a chance to be played there. But for Team CC, they're looking good, Phil.
Yeah, no, this is for Team CC. I think they've not been maybe quite so dynamic as we've seen for Bubble Burster Gaming. You know, Bubble Burster Gaming are playing these high pick potential heroes, so that's always going to look more dynamic. But they seem very cohesive. They seem to have the answers to some of the questions that Bubble Burster Gaming are asking of them. So I think this series could go either way. Yes, we're 1-0 in the series. Yes, we've got a few more to play on this one, but let's not count Team CC out of this just yet.
I don't think so. I don't think we can even, because Team CC, we talked about, you know, the new coach, coming onto the team, and they have a lot of resources in order to be able to scout. They might know from watching last week how Bubble Burster Gaming was capable of being so flexible, right? And so they have to be more coordinated. I wonder if last week was a fluke.
Well, it's entirely possible, but Bubble Burster Gaming coming out on what we saw from them on that last defense, going for the Wrecking Ball variant of the 3-3, which, hey, do you know what, guys? If you think you can make it work, I'm all for it.
I like it. I like it, and particularly because Zenyatta can do so much for both of these teams to just mark targets and really solidify down that target focus.
Yeah, Jihan has to get out of there, get rid of that orb. Discord will be coming back in with the huge displace. Exactly what they wanted out of that. Just a little bit of patience, a little bit of hiding allows you to completely nullify that high ground position. Climax looking for targets, looking for charge, not able to find them just yet. And they are all, Team CC, cooped up in the Mega Health Pack room. Of course, with the hack onto that Mega Health Pack, it does buy them a lot of space to contest here, but they do need to start cycling people onto point to stop this contest happening. Jihan with the wraparound, with the chase down, finds innovation as well, but Farway has managed to get Climax. JWJ getting the better of Tuba also. So despite a really powerful showing there for Bubble Burster Gaming, they weren't able to solidify that into a point take.
To be honest, Phil, I saw too much of Bubble Burster Gaming's focus going into the Orisa shield. You saw, you know, maybe a 5-second clip of Climax there just focusing down the shield. And while in some situations, yes, you want to do that, that definitely wasn't the case there. You had such a good displacement from Jaehoon. You had no follow-up as well after you had bullied Team CC into a very unfavorable spot. But all the time that they've been able to buy for themselves, they're back up where they want to be on the high ground, and Sia is getting ready to say goodbye.
Yeah, knew exactly when they were coming through. Has the EMP, and it's a biggie, getting all 6 in that. But Climax gets the opening kill here, and this happens a lot. Big EMP doesn't necessarily mean a big team fight win, unless you can start to focus down targets, because Jihan and Rick coming in on the back of that. Get the main tank, get the sniper, down goes Sio as well, and in 2 pushes, Bubble Burster Game come through and take that. So 2 ultimates used for a point cap like that is great value if you're Bubble Burster Gaming.
Oh, it's great value, and it's sad for me, Phil, that Team CC has had so many setups where they should have had clean fight wins, and yet they don't have the target focus and the follow-up to be able to do that. Sia had an impressive EMP, but it was Bubble Burster Gaming that had the first blood on that one, and now they've got a lot of potential moving into this one, particularly with that Diva Bomb ready to go, where they might be able to snowball this point.
Yeah, and of course, Diva Bomb comes in wide, but a lot of protection focused onto Fearless there to keep them alive through that. Jihan getting 1 kill with the environmental kill, taking JWJ down, so no health pack, no armor pack online. Out comes the minefield for Jihan as well, so this is very definitely a good position for Bubble Burster Gaming. Sio throws in the sound barrier as well. Climax has the Graviton ready to go. There's the follow-up. Fearless down straight away. Sia absolutely melted down as well. Still alive and on the point that this isn't a point where you can afford to stagger out the pile of form Diva quite so heavily as that. But a team kill, 2 minutes 10 seconds on the clock as the last recontest comes in. Fearless, not quite enough health there to manage it. So big time bank coming in for BBG. Team CC have a lot to do on this hold to take us to a draw.
Yeah, they do, and I don't know if their current strategy of using Orisa is really going to do it for them. They didn't have innovation on the Widowmaker really pumping out that damage on that second attempt, and I ultimately think that hurt them. On their first attempt on defense, they did a great job of being able to keep Bubble Burster Gaming at bay, but I don't know if the Orisa's the call there, Phil. They've looked a lot stronger on other tanks and other synergies.
Yeah, well, maybe third time's the charm. I don't know. It seems like they are making some adaptations every time, but so far it's not been the right adaptation. And I think I'm with you on this. I'd maybe not want to see the Orisa out for a third time, or if they are going to run the Orisa for a third time, let's mix up what's behind the Orisa shield. Like, let's see if they can run a classic bunker with the Bastion, or maybe even with the Baptiste in. I think that's the thing, that if you can pump all that support into your Bastion, and the Bastion has good enough tracking to take down some of the DPS threats that we're seeing from BBG, then that's absolutely a thing that could work for them.
I agree, and even having the second tank be a diva or something like that in order to be able to contest the point, they might have hurt us, Phil, because they are going to have a diva. They're not running an Orisa. They looks like they're going with a triple tank, triple support. with that Winston variant, so they have a lot of mobility in this composition. Winston can do a wonderful job of contesting that high ground on either corner if Bubble Burster Gaming decides to attack from either direction, but they gotta watch out for these high pick potentials now. Going back to basics here for Bubble Burster Gaming.
Yeah, it honestly surprises me that we're not seeing something more directly able to counter Tuba, because in a lot of cases, this is the Tuba show. Like, just buy Tuba some space and watch Tuba absolutely wreck shop. Oh, well, there we go. Whip flail to the face will absolutely do that. Fearless coming in with the melee kill onto Climax also, and Jihan just looking to try and get maybe a little bit of ult charge before getting out there. Fearless diving into the backline, not able to, or doesn't take the sleep to the face, but does get hacked. Might be overcommitting here, but manages to help Zihi go down far away, getting the kill there, but we do lose Fearless also. Sia still here. Barrage from Tuba gets largely eaten up by the diva of Sia, but man, this is looking pretty bad for Team CC because there aren't that many of them left. They were all in onto this fight, and it's just the Ana left on the point. Unless we see someone come back super quick, that's going to be it. Come on, Jihan, try and get that kill. Took you a long time there, but that is going to be that one tick only that was needed. Bubble Burster Gaming taking us to 2-0 in the series.
I think that there was a little bit of an overextension there. I think Team CMC kind of threw that one. That was unfortunate because they looked like so good on their attacks, but defense a little bit to be reckoned with.
Yeah, but let's bring in the big brains here. Naori, come on in and tell us exactly what was happening in that matchup.
So that was quite interesting. Once we swapped sides again, Bubble Burster were getting kind of overconfident and very often finding themselves out of position and punishable. We saw it with the wrecking ball that managed to get slept on top of the truck there, and once you get slept out there, you're so vulnerable. And it's little things like that you really need to be aware of, because getting caught out of position like that is going to lose you points, and that's pretty much what happened. What I loved seeing was once they moved over onto second point, Climax on that McCree constantly spot checking for innovation on that Sombra. I mean, at one point we were spectating and there was like a random flashbang thrown at a wall, and you're like, what are you doing? No, he's looking for innovation. And due to that, innovation was unable to get a lot of value off of that EMP. I think he only got maybe one person. That being said, there was a lot of dissension and chaos when it happened. So off the back of that, Team CC was still able to take that point because they did. They had a massive ult bank, and BB weren't able to kind of counter that. Then we swapped over, and of course, BB only needed to get one tick. They did so well to bait out ultimates using very few of their own. And again, it was that slope, but it was so much more clean and methodical than what we saw from CC. And then, as Nekra mentioned, the over-aggression from CC literally cost them that point.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that breakdown, Naori. We're going to say goodbye to you for now, and we're going to be throwing to a very short break, but don't go anywhere, because we will be right back moving into our third map of the series. Don't go anywhere. Everybody, welcome back. Here we go. We're going into map number 3, and we're going to be going over into Hollywood. Or given some of the stuff that we've seen coming out from these teams, maybe we want to label this Hollyweird, because this has been a non-traditional match set, I think, looking at what our teams have been running.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all, Phil. Already today, we've seen triple tank, triple support, wild triple tank, triple support. What was that? Hammond, Zarya, Diva. Yeah. Like, what's going on? I love this region, and they've even given us some throwbacks with double sniper, triple DPS. We've got 222, Sombra. It's wild. I love it. We're having so much fun.
Yeah, all the people that were clamoring to move away from goats. Guys, just come watch Contenders China, because...
Or just come play in China.
You can play in China. Just flick that switch from NA or EU over to the Chinese region. I'm sure you would do absolutely fine. Ping won't be your enemy at all. But this is going to be our first map that involves a moving payload style of a map, with the hybrid map coming up. And it's going to be interesting for me, at least, to see how Bubble Burster Gaming can make this 0-point presence, high DPS composition work out in this environment.
So that's what I was going to say, is I don't know if Bubble Burster Gaming really wants to try to do that. Obviously, because it is like a hybrid map, you have an assault point first, followed by that movable payload. So we might see Bubble Burster Gaming start out on that 3-2-1, that triple DPS, and then maybe take a move over to something a little bit more point centric. But maybe, triple tank. Who knows?
we have seen them run the 3-2-1, and again the triple tank that has a bit more of a point presence. But even then, when you look at the way they want to structure those team fights with the Wrecking Ball, with the D.Va, with the Zarya, that's still a combination that you kind of want to get up into people's faces with and use some of that mobility. So who do you leave on the point in that situation?
Sometimes you end up leaving the Brig, as weird as that sounds. Like, if you do have a Brigitte in your triple support roster, then the Brig can do a lot there. We've seen a lot of Ana play from both of these teams, so Ana, as long as you know that your team isn't going to overextend into enemy shields, then you can also leave Ana to do some of that long distance as well. It highly depends on what Team CC is running, right? And we've seen it all from Team CC too, where they not only have that triple DPS of their own with that Tracer and that Sombra, but they also have a dive with Tracer and Sombra and more Sombra. So I think that Team CC is going to give us a really good show on this next one, but I do believe that that payload is going to play a really big part in their strategies moving forward into this next map.
Yeah, and so obviously looking ahead to map number 4, will of course be over to Havana in what could potentially be our last map, unless we see Bubble Burster Gaming lose this one and Team CC take a map and then take Havana as well. This will be all we see today, but Bubble Burster Gaming still looking poised to take this, I think.
Well, Bubble Burster Gaming has definitely looked really strong, so it is really no surprise that we are looking at a match point right here. But Team CC, they showed us a lot of really good synergy and good moments there on Volskaya, so Phil, they might just be getting warmed up for this one.
Yeah, man, imagine if the Bubble Burster Gaming we've seen so far is just them sliding up into 3rd gear, and we're about to see 4th, 5th coming out on this next map. We're going to be starting with Team CC on the attack here, just about to leave the spawn doors. And interesting. Yeah,
that's a comp.
Yeah.
That's a thing. And I like the choices that I think the Team CC are making. We are seeing a swap over to a Brigitte here, and that Moira might be the secret sauce that Team CC needed, because Moira provides so much sustain against high damage compositions like what Bubble Burster Gaming are running on their defense, that might be exactly the key that they need.
Yeah, and of course having the Coalescence online just to try and focus down a Pharah. Nothing to be sneezed at either. Already starting to ramp up
to it.
Yeah, it's surprising really, isn't it? Oh, Big Sleep comes out onto Sia. We see Innovation get taken out of that stealth. Jihan going aggressive, buying a bit more space, knocks a couple people off the high ground. Chuba already at 66% of the ultimate, getting ready to go. Getting in nice and close and personal and finds Innovation. They know exactly where they were going to be, and that is going to be a D.Va on the high ground, getting absolutely swarmed by Bubble Burster Gaming. Not quite securing the kill onto them yet. Fearless dies early on. Sia finally getting the pick they might like. Chuba invests the barrage, but they get taken out of it. Big misplay for Bubble Burster Gaming. They've lost Chuba and they've lost Zihi. They're going to have to rely on this minefield to buy them a huge amount of point presence. Rolls out, gets the knockback onto Faraway, who has already used 1 round of Coalescence and is just looking to tick up this second one as quickly as possible. So that looked really dire for BBG for a second there, but they might be in a position to bring this back and stabilize.
Yeah, especially because Jaehoon went in there and played some pinball in the backline of Team CC, able to segment the team there, and they didn't quite have the focus that we saw Team CC come into this one with, but they're back with 6.
Yeah, Jihan's been so good at just playing all of these different angles and positions, doing damage, getting out of the way again, now in the backline. However, we have lost we've lost 3. The res comes back in onto AMB, who is only 50% of the way to the Nano, and we've lost the Valkyrie also. Jihan gets hacked, gets melted, and that is going to be Team CC. It only took them 2 pushes to do. Looks like they may finally have cracked the Bubble Burster Gaming formula.
I think they have. It might really be that Moira. Faraway has shown us so much flexibility on that support role, and no matter what they played, either the high mechanical skill with the Zenyatta, you had those amazing sleep darts from Ana, and those incredible anti-grenades, but now you get to see Moira in action as well for Faraway, and it is doing so much to synergize with the rest of Team CC here. And as they start moving this payload too, Moira has a lot of healing potential just to be centric around the point. And if you really, really need to, you can send an orb your dive tank's way when they do dive into that line.
Yeah, but Climax, the hero we've seen them on a lot here, being very powerful. Big hack, however, coming out from Innovation, finds 4 with that. No kills coming out yet on the back of it. Jihun has the minefield ready to go far away, looking to try and focus down, but gets bashed out of that ultimate, and Rick gets their opposite number. Sia gone down already, but point progress still being gained. That payload moving inexorably forward, and the sound barrier out from Seo buys a lot of space, a lot of time for kills to start to rack up, because we see Zihi going down, Climax making the swap over onto Zarya, and Rick doing their best to keep this fight alive, but hacked and in a bit of a dire position, wants to get out of that, as we see a fighting retreat coming out from Bubble Burster Gaming in the face of what Team CC are running in. Jihun now on the high ground, looking for a big power driver to try and generate the last 30% that they need for this ultimate. Fearless has their own ready to go. Jihun not quite able to get maybe enough there, and gets hacked, gets stunned, getting very close to being deleted. Fearless hasn't had to use this just yet, for the EMP out once again from Innovation. Tuba finds JWJ, and a sleep onto Fearless isn't going to slow them down too much. Sorry, not a sleep. A flashbang out from Climax isn't going to slow them down too much, with the Primal Rage getting rid of Climax. Also able to get out of range, now going to play around that hacked health pack. We're seeing Rick on board, has managed to get rid of Fearless, coming out of that with the self-destruct ready to go as well. Bubble Burst Gaming have brought this right back. And look at this, guys. Climax over on the Reaper.
Reaper? We're seeing everything today. I'm not even going to be surprised at this point that Reaper's coming out of the back pocket, because honestly, these Chinese teams are making every single type of strategy work for them. Bubble Burster Gaming, though, I love this Reaper choice just because I feel like they really needed some more frontline presence. Team CC has been doing a great job of adapting to Bubble Burster Gaming's tendency to go into the back line. You notice that they will try to jump onto maybe, JWJ, or they were trying to jump onto Innovation or something like that, and they always were able to come back for it. Now, they got to the Reaper.
Yeah, the classic minefield rally combo. You see it all the time. It's a really good bit of synergy there. Far away with another trans coalescence, not quite able to find anything with that, but we are going to see Sia and Rick with dueling self-destruct, and it's going to be Rick throwing the first one out, not able to find anything. Seo with the sound barrier, JWJ with the rally. Going to be very hard for Team CC to be taken down here, especially with a hack like that that gets 4 out of it, and the self-destruct getting the kill, and the DMEC. Tuba and Rick both down. Team CC looking to be in a really good position here as they roll into point C. Maybe need to see some changes coming out from Bubble Burster Gaming.
I absolutely agree. Reaper was a choice in order to deal with that, just the flexibility and the adaptability that we've seen from Team CC's strategies to deal with BBG's kind of tendency to go into the backline here. But I think what BBG really needs to do in this scenario is come up with a composition that's going to have a little bit more frontline presence. I think they feel that too, Phil. So they are going to have Jaehoon switching over to the Reinhardt. And that is not a tank that we have seen them on yet today. It's been a lot of Wrecking Ball. So are they going to be warmed up to be able to smack that hammer?
Yeah, Climax takes a huge, deals a lot of damage, but takes a lot of damage. And we're going to see Fearless just one hand juggling. Zihi on the Lucio, hasn't quite managed to secure a kill, but stops them getting in line with their team, stops them generating ult, not too bad there. Climax has the Blossom ready to go, and we've got a Nano Boost online from A and B, so we could be seeing the OG Classic. The Nano Boosted Death Blossom could do a huge amount here to really put this point around. There we go. Beyblade indeed, far away, and JWJ fall to Climax, who's going to be coming out of that with not a huge amount left to show for it, so I think is going to be going back to make a swap.
I love it. So much throwback today. Beyblade, double sniper. Bubble Burster Gaming is giving us all a taste of what Overwatch has just been as a game, and I love it so much. But Team CC now, they recognize that they're going to need to be a little bit more meaty. So they've also slipped over to a Sombra variant of triple tank, triple support.
Yeah, but here's
you have
the
the
problem.
EMP, so
no support ults. EMP only finds 2, but Jihun just gets absolutely focused down. Rick also taking a lot of damage, and we see he also hacked, so no healing coming out of him also. And we're going to see that point tick slowly ever closer as Sia gets Climax out of the fight. JWJ going absolutely wild with that flail, able to get a quick 1-2 combo. Big shatter out from Jihun. It needs to be bigger than that, though, because Team CC are the team with the kills in their favor, and we're going to see them finally complete Hollywood.
oh my gosh, that's been really exciting. A lot of interesting things to see, but we've got Naori to give you the full details.
So, as I was saying, what I've really been noticing from these guys, BGG doing really well to deny CC's attempts to hard counter the triple DPS by punishing the minor issues. But at the same time, also doing well, as much as they're not winning every single fight out, they weren't, it's not a full hold on the first point. They stalled out the time exceptionally well, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. They played that so well. The Reaper choice only came in to deny the Death Ball style. As soon as the Reinhardt came out, they swapped over, and finally we see CC push through to point. Now on their defense, we're going to need to see a little bit more aggression from them because they've been playing a little bit too slow and kind of playing into BBG's hands.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that analysis as always, Naori. But yeah, coming in, we're going to be looking at Bubble Burster Gaming's attack round coming up next, and I kind of feel like the attacking side is where Bubble Burster Gaming really shine. I think on defense, yes, they have shown us some good stuff, but that's not their favorite part of the game. They much prefer it when they can be the ones that dictate the pace of the fights.
Right, but that's going to be very different knowing that this is going to be the first time we've seen Bubble Burster Gaming in this series use that movable payload that they're going to have to push after they cap point 1. So I do expect they're going to get to that point where they're going to be pushing the payload, so I'm already looking forward to that part of the future there. But I think they're going to struggle a little bit, but this is where we get to see whether or not they are going to go with this high damage composition here, or if they're going to say, we need more point presence. They see the bunker composition and they say, you know what? This calls for Cyber Ninja. This is how we deal with this composition. This is how we get rid of it. But I love Team CC's adaptations to this composition. The Roadhog, really nice touch. So is the Junkrat. And of course, you got innovation there as well to deal with those risk pulls.
Yeah, but man, they lose far away so early in the fight. Ricky's able to get right up on top of them. Yes, they have Seal there on the Mercy, but so far, that res has not been employed to bring Faraway back into the fight, and it's now too late, so they're in 5v6 territory, and Tuba is on the hunt, on the Genji, looking to find innovation. CO has the pocket on CO, though. Sorry, has the pocket on innovation, and we see Tuba eventually fall down to just that progressive low damage from Fearless. So they're down to the fight already, but they're looking to generate ultimate. Speaking of which, Jihoon already with that minefield. Climax and Rick get a quick 1-2 punch and a very, very literal punch out from Climax. Also, Jihoon is able to find JWJ, so it's just tank and sniper with a Mercy there. In fact, Seo is able to bring CR back into the fight, which is absolutely huge in terms of both big potential and longevity in the fight. So with the whole hog online and immediately dealt with by Tuba, there's a bit of a desperation whole hog, which is not a sentence I thought I'd be saying anytime soon, but a desperation whole hog indeed. Burster Gaming with a very quick capture time.
I think it's okay that we saw the whole hog get used there from Team CC. You'll notice that Sia is opting to have a little bit more synergy with Fearless, who had already switched over to Winston. So now they're going to be on that diva that we've seen so much of already in the series. And I really like this adaptation from Team CC. I think this is going to do a little bit more against what Bubble Burster's gaming composition is.
Yeah. Oh, nice power driver initiation coming in. Is going to come away with the minefield and the self-destruct, but 2 ults down. We do lose both A and B and Rick from Bubble Burster Gaming, so that might be some ultimates that they want back, because that's not a one-team fight on the back of those.
It is not, but, you know, this is going to be a lot of a brawl here. This chokehold that we've seen this cart get stopped at is so difficult to move through, but I think that Bubble Burster Gaming has finally done it, and now they're looking on to what their next win condition is going to be for this fight. They have the EMP. Innovation isn't close yet because of the swaps that Team CC had to make, so Bubble Burster Gaming has a lot of momentum that they can continue to use carrying forward in the second point of Hollywood.
Yeah, Climax getting aggressive here. Wants to know what route Team CC are playing. Gonna back out of that. Has the EMP in, and it finds 5. Innovation manages to get a kill onto Tuba, but Jihoon coming in, doing a lot of work on the Wrecking Ball, getting a quick 2, but Fearless wants in on the tank praise, getting 1 with the melee as well. A and B getting the opposite number of Faraway. Fearless with the monkey arm, swinging wildly, looking for those kills, finds A and B, gets them with a Primal Rage. Huge play coming out there from the Manic Monkey of Team CC. But a lot of Bubble Burster Gaming still alive and in the fight. Fearless is in danger here, needs to get out of the fight, gets back to the safety of their own team. Innovation has another EMP ready to go. Jihoon seems to always have this minefield ready to go. They're going to throw it in. Out comes the EMP. Stops the power driver from connecting, and Innovation once more finds Tuba in the fight. Jihoon going toe-to-toe there with Innovation, who gets the armor pack and gets right out of it. And The health pack is not there for Gian to regenerate their own health with. They may well get focused down by Innovation on the Sombra. Beautiful play. Great use of the EMP from Team CC, and Innovation very close to getting another one as well.
They are really close. This is going to be kind of a battle of the EMPs for both of these teams, but unfortunately, we haven't seen Bubble Burster Gaming really be able to continue that momentum forward off of the back of Climax's EMP there. Zihi did a phenomenal job in order to stay out of the way, but can CO do that? Get up to that sound barrier before it's too late.
Yeah, well, rally coming out from Tuba and the hack out from Climax as well. Big EMP finds 5. We've got 2 kills on the back of it. Fearless and far way down. Power driver initiation. Nice chunk of ult charge coming in on the back of that. Jihoon again going to have a minefield ready to go in this next fight as they finally get Sia off the point. They're going to be coming in with 2, nearly 3 ultimates. Team CC, though, not to be outdone, coming in with a lot of their own.
They do have a lot of their own, most notably, I mean, it's a 5 ultimate bank versus, I think it's going to be about a 3 ultimate bank, but lights out means they can't use any of them.
Yeah, and a self-destruct over the top from Rick. Doesn't find anything, but Silas has gotten rid of Zihi, who is struggling a little bit to generate the sound barriers that need, dying very early in these fights. Fearless doing a huge amount of work. Such an impressive Winston, featuring so heavily in that kill feed, and Sia still holds on to the self-destruct. We're coming out of that. 1 ultimate for a really convincing teamfight win from Team CC.
Team CC has looked so much better, Phil. I don't know what it is, whether they woke up, whether they are communicating better, but this has been an incredible hold from them, and I think it's because they are not only synergizing with their front line, but they're also making sure that they're rotating through those ultimates, and they understand exactly what they need to target down first.
Yeah, and of course, Innovation is about to have another EMP as well. Fearless has the Primal Rage, has used it already. Climax did use the EMP there also. Didn't get a huge amount of value with it, but Jihoon gets an opener with Farway taken down, focused right out of it by Innovation. Fearless themselves falling, however, so this is still pretty equal in this fight. Climax desperately looking for somebody to generate this hack, this EMP out of. Doesn't find anybody with it, and Zihi once more still without the sound bite ready to go, gets taken out of the fight, and we're going to see Tuba focused, cancelled, taken out of the fight. Bubble Burster Gaming, they've got one more go at this, and they may get staggered out here as the chase is on to get rid of Rick.
Team CC wants that stagger so badly because if they get it, that means that they will end up playing this out as a 6v5. However, not the case, but they have so many tools to work with on Team CC in order to keep Bubble Burster Gaming at bay. Little do they know that Climax is waiting in the backline, though. They don't have the EMP ready to go, but they're gonna have to be careful. This is where it ends, Team CC.
Yeah, they've got the overtime ticker on. They managed to hack CO. Hasn't managed to find a kill just yet. Fearless receives the nano-boost, gets stunned. Zihi finally with the sound barrier online, has bought a lot of space for the team, but the EMP comes in, strips it out completely. Innovation gets Zihi. The self-destruct was committed into the fight, but didn't find a huge amount of value. And Team CC absolutely on point with the cleanup. A dive coming out from Fearless to get rid of Tuba, who looked very much like they'd just given up at the end of that fight. So Team CC taking their first win in the series.
They are taking their first win, and what an exciting way to go. I mean, Phil, I think they found the secret sauce there. They knew that Moira was going to be an excellent attacking support hero, and on defense, they had the pieces together.
Yeah, but speaking of secret sauce, here to give us the ingredients for said secret sauce is Naori. Break it down for us, Naori.
Right, so let's talk about this Hammond pick into a Sombra. You're always gonna struggle with that one. Bubble Buster just kind of refused to swap off of that Hammond for the whole game. And every time the Sombra got the hack off, it puts you in a bad position because Hammond's playground is the back line. And the moment Sombra hacks you, you're vulnerable. You're absolutely in such a dangerous position. So being so adamant to play that Hammond into the Sombra is ultimately what made it so impossible for them to continue to hold. What I really found interesting on that attack was how they ran the Tracer as opposed to the Sombra. Now, as you know, the Sombra is a fantastic counter not only to the Hammond, but of course to that bunker composition. And it was interesting to see that they would be running the Tracer instead, but it makes a lot of sense. It's easier to disrupt the fight over time, forces attention away from the rest of the team, like baiting out Hook, being able to damage past shields with her blink ability, and it means that the front line is free to, play. So it was a good choice ultimately, because you really want to play slowly and play for EMP. With the Tracer, you're still playing slowly, but you've got a little bit more maneuverability, and it comes down to that crossfire. So interesting play between these two teams here, but we saw CC just absolutely abusing the Sombra and making life hell for that Hammond.
Well, I hope you've all taken note of the ingredients for that secret sauce and getting ready to put it onto your own Overwatch burgers. But we're going to be saying thank you very much, Naori. We'll see a bit more of you slightly later on today. But we're going to go to a short break before we move on to what could be our final map of the series, unless, of course, Team CC can take us to that 2-2 draw. But don't go too far. We're going to be right back. Well, Nekrich, my prediction of it being Holly Weird, maybe not the Holly Weirdest we've seen yet, but certainly strange to see Bubble Burster Gaming go from looking so competent to looking maybe a little stubborn to change to deal with the fact they were being hard countered.
They have been hard countered. Naori hit it right on the head before we went to break, that Team CC has so much adaptability. They have all the answers right now for what Bubble Burster Gaming wants to run. Now, the big question as we move into our next map of what's going to be Havana is like, how are Bubble Burster Gaming really going to do their own adaptations? We've really only seen Jaehoon play Wrecking Ball. Now, we saw them try to play the Reinhardt on the back part of Hollywood, but I don't know how they're going to be able to adjust their play style in order to deal with the pressure that Team CC can put out on the front line. I think that Jaehoon's really going to need to have a larger presence there, and whether it's going to be on an Orisa, on a Winston, on a Reinhardt, we might need to see something different than that Wrecking Ball choice.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to make your way onto a roster like Bubble Burster Gaming, who are proving to be, a real contender this season, by just being a Wrecking Ball one trick. So I assume that Jaehoon has this ability on, at the very least, Reinhardt, hopefully Winston, maybe Orisa, although Orisa certainly a useful pick now, historically not all that great outside of running a pirate ship. So I assume he has that skill set. We just need to see it used and see it supported. I think at the minute, the way Bubble Burster Gaming want to play a lot of the time is buy space for Tuber, buy space for Climax to do things.
Absolutely.
And maybe their team isn't structured in the way of buy space for Jaehoon to do things, and maybe that's why they're running the Wrecking.
So we talk about this a lot when we see teams that are playing triple tank, triple support try to play dive. There is such a different play style required for a triple tank, triple support tank mindset versus exactly what we've been seeing from Bubble Burster Gaming. Either the triple DPS with the Wrecking Ball, even a bunker comp has to play differently, and Team CC has done a phenomenal job of showing us all of that flexibility of being able to change their main tank and tank duo play styles depending on the composition that they're running. And we're not seeing that same adaptation from Bubble Burster Gaming. So I am excited to see if Bubble Burster Gaming can figure that out within this next map, but Team CC already has it figured out. Yeah. That's the biggest issue.
Well, I can already see a Wrecking Ball on screen, so it looks like Bubble Burster Gaming still intent on keeping Jaehoon on that rolling pain in the behind that is or can be Wrecking Ball. Let's see what Team CC want to throw at them to try and counter this.
Yeah, as we just kind of gear up here, Havana's been a weird map, right? We talk about Holly weird. We're going to see Havana as being another weird one just because teams haven't quite figured out how to play on this map, and I still think it's one of those maps that you don't want to play it if you don't have to in some cases. But I think Sombra can be an excellent choice here. I think that we're already seeing a little bit of Team CC saying, I don't know if I really want to play what we were playing into what Bubble Burster Gaming has. I love that they're going back to dive. I love that they have that Moira, and they also have a Brigitte in case things get really tough.
Yeah, but hack out already from Rick. Not able to find a huge amount of follow-up damage from it. But once again, this is going to be eyes in the sky. Looking over at Tuba, trying to generate that ult charge as quickly as possible. 33% in climbing. But the other ult charge to take care of or to take note of is going to be far away. Looking to try and generate this coalescence and maybe try and beam the fire out of the sky with it. Generates pretty quickly. Not a bad way to do it. In comes the dive from Fearless. Only just getting that armor pack in time to keep themselves alive through the dive. Fearless definitely living up to their namesake there, but definitely topped right back up again by Farway. Innovation found out. Getting very close to maybe a choice target there, but Climax on the low ground in the back, looking for targets, not able to find the angle. The dive comes in from Fearless. Farway not opting to beam down the Barrett as we might have expected, but certainly piling a lot of damage into Rick, who is struggling to generate that ultimate. The Tuba did have the barrage, not able to find anything with it. Team CC, they've definitely got Bubble Burster Gaming's number right now.
They do, and they're calling it, Phil. They're calling it pretty hard here, and Bubble Burster Gaming now going into kind of an unfavorable position. We have seen Tuba play super well with that Pharah, but Farway's been able to check that so easily on Team CC that Tuba now feels like they got to go over to the Brigitte. And while they've been able to get some good last hits and be able to get that AoE healing for the rest of the team, I don't know if this is really Tuba's comfort place.
Yeah, and Climax still being on the Widowmaker is a bit of a weird one, honestly. You know, you're taking out a lot of the synergy from the setup that you're trying to run by having that. Maybe they just wanted to use the infra side to try and get a few opening picks here, but it's going to be pretty tricky. At least they know where Innovation is, although it's come down now, so they no longer have a bead on Innovation, but we've seen Innovation use these EMPs to really flip these team fights.
They really have. Innovation has been hitting them a little bit better than Bubble Burster Gaming has been able to, so that might help them kind of keep up the momentum here.
Yeah, well, we got the minefield off just before the EMP came out, but a lot of those landed on the high ground, so not doing a huge amount there to really help out the team. Team CC are slightly on the back foot now, but Fearless once again throwing in those big, powerful gorilla arms to really do some carrying for the team here as they chase down these kills. And that's going to be Rick taken care of as well. Team CC coming out of that looking really strong.
They do look really strong, and they're going to keep moving forward. This now on an incredible rotation of ultimates. Sia's going to be able to use that bomb to either get Bubble Burster Gaming to turn around or just create some space for the tank line to go nuts here. And then Farway able to follow that up with Coalescence as well.
Jihoon rolled right into that hack from Innovation. Fearless finds Zihi, and we've got another Coalescence on board, trying desperately to track down that low health icon they could see through the screen, and not quite able to focus anybody down with it. Does buy them a little bit of space, and another hack out onto Jihoon. They get hacked, they get deleted. It's a Taylor's oldest time at this point. JWJ able to get a parting blow there, taking Climax down also, and pretty much uncontested. They won that team fight so convincingly that there was nothing Burster Gaming could really do.
And now Team CC has that EMP up again that worked so well in order to secure them that second point. And as we approach the end of the line here for this first round of Havana, they're going to be able to use this momentum. They've looked unstoppable. Phil, Bubble Burster Gaming hasn't been able to take a second to breathe and figure this out.
No, but Climax getting very close to an EMP of their own. Innovation looking here for the right angle. They have the translator offline ready to go. They don't even need it. They've got in on top of it, but they may get forced out of it. EMP comes out. Sound barrier, self-destruct, not finding anything there. Rix, however, does find Farway. However, Fearless! The cooldown didn't quite come back. I think they got hacked out of it. They didn't have the jump on cooldown because they were hacked, so they sadly signed their own demise on that one. And Climax is going to be coming out of this with an EMP, and we've got a sound barrier ready to go. So, Bubble Burster Gaming finally have the upper hand here. This might be where they can turn things around.
Yeah, I would love to see Bubble Burster Gaming stabilize here, and even then some. They need to get on the same rotation, but Climax
hack
found
comes
out.
out. Yeah, and pressured, uses it, finds 3 with it, but does get focused down by CO. So 5v6, and with a rally in on top of that, it's going to make that very difficult for Burster Gaming to find out. You've seen Zihi use the sound barrier, buying some more space for their team, but they are on a rout. They are being absolutely smashed back away from the point, so that's going to be another ultimate they maybe wish they hadn't used here. They're going to be coming in with Jihoon with an Earth Shatter, but the fight is still going on. Team CC want these last second kills. They want this fight to be as long and as scrappy and have the upper hand for as long as possible. Jihoon is going to be coming in with an Earth Shatter, but they're not being given any space to actually use it right now.
They aren't gonna have too much time to use it, but they've got to do something quickly here. Ooh, Earth Shatter not really fruitful.
Yeah, EMP on top of a beautiful nade coming out from far away, and CO throws in the sound barrier. Also, Fearless on cleanup duty, swinging that big meaty German hammer, and that's going to be a really quick capture time for Team CC.
Team CC rolled through those points, and they're solidifying why they are considered an academy team. Bubble Burster Gaming, though, they need to do something about their frontline presence. Jihoon tried. We did see them swap off of the Wrecking Ball onto the Reinhardt, but unfortunately, it's very hard to play that hero when there's a Sombra on the enemy team doing some work in your backline.
It almost looks to me like Bubble Burster Gaming have a really good understanding of how to be aggressive when they're on the more traditionally aggressive setups. Like when they're running the Farah, the Farah and the Wrecking Ball can get in, just start to do damage, cause trouble. When they have to play something that is naturally more passive, where you've really got to force the aggression, it seems like they're really struggling to make that work. And so I think we've got to see either some more aggression or some better adaptations out of Bubble Burster Gaming if they don't want to go to a map 5.
Yeah, even changing up the support line a little bit so they're not super punished by that Sombra. Innovation just really understands how to play that hero, and you can see that they have EMP kind of on cooldown in some scenarios. So it's been really exciting to watch this back and forth. Team Bubble Burster Gaming off to an explosive start at the very beginning of the series, and now Team CC, they get it. They understand exactly what they need to do in order to break that composition down, break that synergy down on Bubble Burster Gaming, and they're doing a phenomenal job of that right now. But would you look at this, Phil?
Ooh.
Bubble Burster Gaming has something very interesting. Okay, I got a little bit debated there. I was very excited about the Batiste, but I'm excited about Jihoon on this Orisa as well.
Yeah, and took a lot of damage there though.
Did take quite a bit of damage. I mean, he's going to have to be able to heal back up, though, but A and B is going to get a lot of ult charge off of this one. Team CC, they must understand the bunker composition here, and Bubble Burster Gaming must have seen that and went, you know what, if you guys are going to play bunker, we need to do a little bit, but Jihoon, didn't feel comfortable on that.
Orisa. Yeah, that's about all this time he could stomach on the Orisa moving back over onto the Wrecking Ball, but there's a lot of CC there between the sleep and the hook and the pull, so it's going to make running Wrecking Ball just a real nightmare of a time for them here.
It is going to be a little tougher. When you're playing a bunker composition like this, you have so many different CC effects. Orisa, most notably, has been being able to synergize with innovation on that Widowmaker with those pulls and then some headshots. And you also have the Sombra. There's so many things that are going on right now for both of these teams. Roadhog hooks, sleeps.
Yeah.
How do you play this game?
This is not looking great for Bubble Burster. I mean, Team CC pretty much powered right through Bubble Burster's initial setup, and Burster are really struggling with it now. I think they're trying to get this nano boosted Dragon Blade online, but it's taking them a little while.
It is, but Tuba's very close. So, you know, we've already seen them do a lot of work on Pharah. Projectiles is obviously their strong suit here, and we just gotta wait for A and B to get that nano boost online. We saw Bubble Burster Gaming take a little bit more of a methodical approach to past maps. They need to do the same thing here if they want to make this work.
Well, here it is. Nano boosted Dragon Blade online. Gets one with the dash reset. Finds JJJ over on the Hamzah Mostafa. Looking for that third kill. Not able to find it. A lot of damage piled into Fearless. Sia going down as well. So that's exactly what they wanted. That 2 ults team fight win and Sia down. But there's going to be at least one more contest coming out from Team CC. And they've got a bunch of ults to do it with.
Oh, they absolutely have a bunch of ultimates, but finally now that this cart is rolling, we might be able to see Climax open the window of opportunity for Bubble Burster Gaming to continue to roll through these points. You know, if Climax is able to get a nice angle onto somebody from Team CC, then that might give them a numbers advantage moving into this next one. But it looks like Innovation's there with the cut first.
That's super rough. 2 lost so quickly. They probably won't even need to use their ultimates here. They're just going to come and recontest the point. Yeah, Bubble Burster Gaming have backed right the way out. Pretty bad to be stopped just short of the point by not even cooldowns in a couple of places.
Yeah, cooldowns are cooldown resource use is so important when you're looking at these types of compositions, especially if you have those strong CC effects on Team CC. I wonder if that's why they're called that. But you know, Fearless,
Let's look into
Sia playing really well together with that pull forward combo. And you also have the potential now of JWJ on that Hanzo doing so much work into those pulls and CC effects as well.
Yeah, I don't think that minefield was quite where Jihan maybe would have wanted it, pulled out of that, and Tuber going into the backline, looking to get one or maybe even both of those snipers. They're pressing up very close, but of course there's a pocket there to keep JWJ in the fight, and we lose ANB, who was getting fairly close to having the ultimate online ready to give over to Tuber. Tuber has the dragon ready to go and is going to use it. Jihan gets one. Tuber with the follow-up, but taken out of things by far away. Jihan still up in the fight. Climax able to find a dome shot onto JWJ. Jihan with the chase, finds far away. Now after CO really wants to wrap this up as quickly as possible. They're backing out just to give themselves a bit of point presence, but a pretty slow cap time. Bubblebuster Gaming need to really speed this up if they want to complete with Team CC in the next 2 points.
Yeah, definitely a couple of overtime champions here for Bubble Burster Gaming, but they were able to make work of that as soon as they kind of figured out the angles that they needed. Climax, though, actually gonna pop the sights just for a little bit of fun, and going back to that Reaper choice that we had some fun with a little bit earlier. Now, the name of the game, though, here is, will Climax be able to bully Fearless, essentially? And is Jihoon really going to be able to protect the rest of the team from this onslaught that Team CC is coming at them with?
This is a lot more sensible than running the Reaper. Honestly, running the Zarya here, you've got the classic, you've got the Ana variant of the Goats composition. So you know this is a thing that really could work out for them if they can get it right. But I've been a lot happier with Tuber's DPS play than with their Brig play. Let's see if they can make this work out. Neither team particularly close to it anymore, except for A and B, of course, who has the nano boost, and it's a classic target. Is going to allow them to get the DMEC and the kill onto Sia, but you ideally would like a couple more kills than that. It has allowed Jihoon to get fairly close to their next ultimate. Still 3 alive for Team CC, and down to 2 now as the rest of Team CC back out. Looking a lot better for Bubble Burster Gaming already.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that they just needed to make some of those changes, especially because these points are so enclosed for the rest of Havana, and also the composition that they're running now with that triple tank, triple support is going to provide them a lot of point presence. They have the sustain, they have the ability to keep Team CC at bay, even force Team C to make some swaps here, because they're going to go to a 3-2-1 of their own here with that triple tank.
Yeah, but beautiful positioning out from Zihi, able to get that sound barrier in over the top of the EMP. They absolutely knew that it was on board and ready to go. Far away once more, coming in with the Coalescence, now down and out. This is where this becomes a sub-optimal pick for your team if you're running the Moira Goats against the Ana variant of the Goats, although that ultimate, again, taken up very, very quickly. Sia staying on the high ground here, but a big shadow. Puts 2 on the ground, 2 immediately deleted. Far away, also taking that hit, but Rick able to get 1 with the self-destruct, and that is going to be Bubble Burster Gaming, capping point 2 on a roll onto point 3, but already down in time bank.
They are down in time bank, but you just need to finish it, right? If they're able to finish up this 3rd point here, then they will get an extra minute on the time bank, and we will go to rounds 3 and 4. This triple tank, triple support might have been what they needed. Rick feels like innovation might be a little bit of a problem, so they're going to swap over to the Sombra as well. We saw them a little bit earlier doing that in a triple DPS environment, but can they make it work with the tank line as well?
Yeah, well, we're about to see another big ult combo come online as we're going to have the Nano Boost and the Graviton Surge. Nano Boost comes out onto Jihoon, who does get hacked, but still 2 kills, 3 kills online on the back of those, and coming away from it with an Earth Shatter. So this is, again, looking great for Bubble Burster Gaming. Notice we got far away swapping off of the Moira over onto the Zen, so taking slightly the upper hand in this matchup.
Yeah, the Zenyatta does so much in this scenario in order to, tag those targets, but A and B, they don't have to deal with that Zenyatta if they just decide to anti the entire team. Yeah,
it's a really good answer to that ultimate, but Fearless gets focused down. CO comes in with the sand barrier, too late to keep Fearless up in the fight, but will maybe buy just enough space for the hack to come off. The absolute size of that hack, getting all 6, and Climax instantly defeated. Bubble Burster Gaming look like they're going to back out of it here, come out when they've got all 6 members ready to go.
Well, they got to do it quickly, Phil. They have 20 seconds left on the clock in order to make this happen, and they might even need to leave somebody there, like their Lucio, in order to actually touch this point. He is going to come up on that sound barrier, and they're going to have sustain here with that Brigitte rally as well. But is that going to be enough in order to bully through the ultimates that TCC has? So many offensive pieces.
Yeah, well, there's the sound barrier, and Sia also throws in the Graviton Surge. That's 2 kills on the back of that climax. Very close to a Graviton Surge themselves, but falling very, very low. Rick throwing in the EMP, gets 2. Jihun with the chase, finds 2 with a hack. Absolutely massive. JWJ falls with the rally, ready to go, but he comes down on top of the Earth Shatter. A huge play out from Fearless. Jihun is still up. The Shatter from themselves takes Seo out of the fight. It looks like Bubble Burster Gaming are just going to be able to clutch this out if they get these last few kills on board, but they're going to be doing it in overtime. Climax coming back in on the Soldier, using those powerful machine legs to get back into the fight and lend their aid, and they are going to take us through to the next round, but with nothing in the time bank.
Wow, that was too many home runs there from Jihun on that Reinhardt. It was incredible.
Yeah, huge. We're going to bring it in now, just to give us a little bit of a breakdown as to what we saw on that extremely combative first round.
That was pretty insane. Bubble Buster on their first round there, they were playing very slow, waiting for the EMP, but getting so punished. Innovation consistently winning that Sombra battle. And still, Bubble Buster insisting on being countered. They keep playing comp that CC can so easily and so effectively counter consistently, to the point that they lost the second point Havana so handedly, which is a defense-heavy area of the map. Coming through on the next round, Bubble Buster, they start off the round with no shield break, relying on the Nano Blade, but the Nano Blade wins you one fight. Team C were consistently winning in the neutral, and that's what gave them the lead there. Finally, we come through to the last fight in CC. They lack sustain with Zenyatta, but playing just for EMP so that they can use it to win through Discord and then cycle between EMP and Trance. They were hoping to win out that last fight with the Transcendence, but unfortunately for them, BB looking a lot cleaner on the 3-2-1.
Well, thank you very much for that insight once again, Naori, but we're going to be going over into round 2, and this is an aggressive hold coming out from Team CC. They know that they just need to burn down as much time as possible, and WoW Climax just gets deleted and removed from the game. This is looking very rough, although Tuba coming out on his signature Farah. A and B now playing the Roadhog. This is Bubble Burster Gaming trying to throw stuff at the wall, see what's it.
Well, it might work here, but I don't know if Tuba and Climax are really going to have the health pools necessary to be able to deal with this aggressive tank line here from CC that is just smashing them into spawn right now. Can they get out and actually get something done?
Well, Jihun doing his best to try and make some space there, coming with a power driver, not quite able to connect, but is doing a lot just to blast them off the payload to get it around this corner, away where this spawn hold is much harder for it to actually work. And Tuba already doing some work, chunking down these targets, getting in close, wants the kills, but they're too good at playing under the payload, under these fuel pumps. But no kills coming out of this barrage, out of the rockets from Farah just yet. Getting very close to having this barrage online, has decided they want far away in the sights, taken down, Sia down as well. So the DPS count for Bubble Burster Gaming, absolutely something they know how to make work, as Climax and Tuba absolutely clear shot, but now they're in a dangerous position where they can't get off the payload. This is going to be all down to how much they can do whilst keeping somebody here.
Yeah, and that's the problem with this high damage composition, right, Phil, is that we talked about there not really being point presence or point presence capability from this specific composition from Bubble Burster Gaming, but that might not even matter when you are sitting on 6 ultimates. Climax popping those wall sites will give Bubble Burster Gaming a lot of information, so that Rick can be ready to go, and so can Tuba.
Oh, massive out from Tuba. Rick with a follow-up. Man, that absolutely huge. They didn't even get a chance to turn up to that team fight. See it down and DMAX. And it's got to be a team. Yeah, there we go. There's the team kill bell. Jihun hardly even had to do anything in that fight. Absolutely astonishing work.
Yeah, but they did have to use 4 ultimates there. The Nano Boost, the EMP, the Sights, the Pharaoh Rocket Barrage. Now they only have Mercy Valkyrie and the Wrecking Ball ultimate.
Yeah, I wonder if Jihun is bored of riding this payload just yet, because that's all they've done for the past minute.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, it's a dirty job.
Yeah, it is a dirty job, but someone's got to do it in order to keep this cart rolling. And so Jihoon's rolling in some way, right? But
Yeah.
Team CC now, they're able to fire back with a couple of ultimates of their own here. I don't know if these Hammond mines are really going to be enough, especially when CO does have the sound barrier and innovation. Might be able to ball everybody up with that Graviton Surge.
Climax intent on trying to make this Reaper
Yes.
pick work. I mean, it's not bad into the face of a Winston like that, but a Winston with a sound barrier is much harder to get anything done with. And of course, overtime's been going for so long. The second they were knocked off, that was going to be it. But that's a pretty good showing, actually. They got a lot further than I thought they were going to when you look at the aggressive hold that was coming out from Team CC. So this is going to be a tricky one for Burster Gaming.
Team CC definitely played that right, though, because they wanted to buy as much time off the clock as possible. That when that overtime wick did finally expire, it just went poof, gone.
Yeah.
So Bubble Burster Gaming, they did a phenomenal feat there, but they still have an uphill battle to climb. Team CC has over 3 minutes in their time bank in order to make it just past that first point. And from what we saw originally from Team CC's attack run, I don't think that's going to be too hard for them to do.
No, possibly not. But I think this all depends on whether Bubble Burster Gaming are willing, and we talked about this a lot, willing to make the adaptations to Team CC's approach to this. You know, if we see them run out with a wrecking ball here, I think that's kind of game over. I just don't think there's the sustain and the synergy there to make that work. I think we've got to see something a little more static coming out, certainly from Jihoon, maybe from the rest of the team too.
I mean, Jihoon's Reinhardt at the end of their own attack push looked really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would love to see more of that Reinhardt. They definitely have the flexibility to play those. And I might be getting my wish here, Phil. It looks like it is going to be a triple, I guess a double tank lineup there with the Sombra. And we're seeing a similar composition here from Team CC, except just a little bit of scouting coming out. I was hoping we'd see that Baptiste, but Lucio, I like that choice a lot better here.
Yeah, makes a lot more sense. This is already a much less aggressive hold from Bubble Burster Gaming, and Zia finds Tuba already, so they're in the 5v6. This is going to be a lot of progress given up that they didn't have to give up, or could have given up with a much more aggressive hold here. Bubble Burster Gaming having their bubble bursted, being pushed right the way back. They cannot afford to get into this team fight. One down already, and so the cart for Team CC just moving up almost uncontested. No charge out for Rick. Climax over on the Brigitte now. It's a really weird variant they've got on this, swapping their heroes around between players.
Oh, and Farway already has Nano Boost, so that's going to be coming out pretty soon here, and AMB might not be able to do anything against that.
Yeah, Fearless with a Fire Strike takes Jihoon down. Climax falling to Innovation. Farway able to stand in the back and just snipe down these targets. Doesn't even need to worry too much about healing. BBG coming into this final fight. They don't have any ultimates. They've not got a lot left to do this with, and they've got to get in quick and start doing at least something to stop this happening, because there's that box.
I mean, Team CC has their win condition lined up. Nano Boost onto Fearless. Fearless lands a home run, and then Team CC brings us to a map 5. See ya.
Yeah, Climax on the brig down already, and it kind of looks like BBG are they waiting for the last second contest, or are they just given up here? No, they are going for the last second contest. It looked a little bit fatalistic there for a second. Senior taken down. Fearless hits the home run. The entirety of BBG knocked right out of the park, and we are all tied up. We're going to be seeing a map 5, everybody. 2-2 in the series.
I am so impressed with the level of play that Team CC has shown us so far. But Bubble Burster Gaming, I'm just so curious on what they can do in this map 5 to be able to bring it home.
Well, to dispel some of that curiosity, let's bring Naori back in onto the screen so she can break down some of what we saw in that last round.
So a fun thing about Havana first point, it's so good for holding spawn if you're running the 3-3. We saw it at really done exceptionally well. A little earlier this week in European Contenders, Young and Beautiful versus Clockwork Vendetta, they actually held Clockwork in spawn forever. But the difference between... Exactly. But the difference between Clockwork Vendetta and Team CC is that Team CC did swap off... Oh, sorry, not Team CC, Team BB. They did swap off, and we saw that Farah come out. And once Farah was able to slip past the defenses of the 3-3 composition, get into the backline, and start absolutely spamming, it was very difficult to continue holding those spawn doors. What I did want to point out from Tuba was the discipline shown to not use barrage in that first fight, because I know that like Pharahs can get a little bit trigger happy. You know, you get barrage and you're like, wee, and you just want to kill everything. But at that point, he had kind of already killed everything with his rockets, and then he had it for the second fight, which is how they managed to win the second fight and get all the way through to second point. And that's kind of what gave them their buffer zone for when they needed to defend. It was actually phenomenally well played there. Then, of course, we swapped sides, and I must say, BB, they have this tendency of using too many ults, and there was just no answer, particularly, and now this is going to come back to their attack, particularly when they were moving into Distillery. They had blown all of their ultimates, and as they moved in, they just had nothing and got forced off of points. Over on the defense, they played so passively, and Tuba getting caught out early on the Sombra did nothing for their defense. So unfortunately, CC looking incredibly strong in this series. This last map is kind of anyone's game.
Yeah, so Team CC poised to get the reverse sweep, so we're going to say thank you very much to Naori for now, and we're going to take another couple break while we get our teams lined up and ready to go for our final tiebreaker map. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to be right back. Welcome back, everybody. You heard right. We've got a series on our hands. We're going to go to map 5. We've got one more control map ready to go, and I kind of feel the control maps where things are a bit more chaotic, a little less payload driven, a lot less payload driven. This is where we might see Bubble Burster Gaming absolutely clutch this out.
Absolutely. I mean, the very first control map that we saw, which was Ilios in this series, Bubble Burster Gaming was so strong. They weren't able to take those 1v1s when they were playing that triple DPS composition, and Team CC didn't have any answers. So I think that this is going to be another map, particularly when we have so many different stages that require different strategies, that Bubble Burster Gaming is able to show us the flexibility that they're known for.
Yeah, but I suspect we're going to see a lot more of the classic Bubble Burster Gaming that we've seen so far with those heavy DPS picks.
Yes.
And I think Team CC, they know how to deal with this now. I don't think they're phased by it anymore. So Bubble Burster Gaming relying on just the chaotic nature of this game mode to actually make anything happen. So I kind of want to call this for BBG, but also Team CC, they're looking pretty good. I don't know. How do you call this? Because this has been so close this series.
Ooh. On the one hand, Team CC has definitely warmed up, and they are privy to those tricks that BBG has up their sleeves. But on the other hand, Bubble Burster Gaming, this is really their playground. Shrine, excellent Pharah map. You also have the ability to play Pharah also on Sanctum. Not nearly as much there, but Village as well can really be a Pharah Widow playground, and that's where we're going to first. So as we exit spawn, you can see exactly that's the composition that Bubble Burster Gaming wants to run here, and you got to play this very slow, Phil. Bubble Burster Gaming has been able to do this methodically, but you gotta set up that crossfire. There you go.
That'll do as an opener. CO down already in the fight, and just around the corner, Chuba with the splash damage, taking Fearless out of the equation. On the hunt now, tried for that CC kill. JWJ goes down. Also, Innovation on the May, getting Focus down, and that's going to be Bubble Burster Gaming taking this pretty convincingly and coming out of that with, at the very least, the Widow sites online ready to go.
I don't want Bubble Burster Gaming to get too confident here, though, because there was a May on the other team. But the other thing, too, is that Team CC, now that they know that they are playing this composition, have the ability to switch. That's the beauty and nature of control maps, is that, yay, if you guys all die, then you do have a little bit of time bought for yourself to change up compositions and see if that's going to work. So going back to the dive, going back to that Moira, such a good check for Tuba.
Yeah, absolutely, but there's a barrage. Beautiful shield placement from Fearless, blocked a lot of the damage, sadly, wasn't able to get out of it themselves, and as the team scatters in response to that barrage, they get isolated, they get targeted, they get focused down. Bubble Burster Gaming coming out once more on top very decisively, and this time with an EMP to play with.
Ooh, well, that EMP is going to be pretty spicy here. I know there isn't really a big bang ultimate to really pair with it, because Tuba just made such a name for themselves in this one, but Sia taking out Climax means that there is a very easy way for Team CC to kind of move in on this one, and it's going to be with that numbers advantage.
Well, there's that big EMP we were talking about. 4 hacked in that exchange. Sia able to get Rick also, so 2 down. Fearless with the follow-up. Ji-Hun does find Fearless in the exchange, but there we go. Talking about far away, beaming down Tuba. That's what we've been looking for all game. finally managing to do that. And we have got a swap coming out for Bubble Burster Gaming. Climax really, really wants Reaper to be meta again, but they're just not.
I commend them for their effort and their confidence on that one, but Farway really has been playing this matchup exactly the way that they needed to. Stayed out of the line of sight of that EMP, came in clutch with that Coalescence, and has been able to target down Tuba, which has been Team CC's biggest problem on this comp.
Yeah, but we've got things to play with. There's the Nano Boost coming out onto the Pharah, who has the barrage ready to go. Isn't going to use it, just gets 2 with a casual rocket. Rick gets the D-Mech, and Tuba has to back out of the way there. But that's going to be Bubble Burster Gaming once more coming out on top, and there's a sleeping Brig. Just, we're gonna, yeah. Oh, no, still alive, still fighting. They want this stagger so much. They have the rally ready to go as well, and they finally get focused down. That's so unfortunate because with 14% of the point left to go, it's going to be very hard for Team CC to come back in without that rally.
Oh, that stagger was critical for Bubble Burster Gaming, and I think that might have actually been able to seal the deal for them. Tuba, so much patience with that Fair Barrage. This is not the first time that we've seen this happen, but they'll be able to use it here to clutch out this first map if they can.
Yeah, EMP comes out from both teams, gets 3 of us out of Bubble Burster Gaming. Barrage in, round the back, finds JWG and CO. So that's going to be incredibly difficult for Team CC to come back with. They've got nothing left to play with. Farway gets focused down. Climax finally getting a kill with the Reaper. Finally getting the Death Bottom online. Gets 2 with the ultimate as we go to 1-0 on Nepal.
What an explosive finish for this first round of Nepal, and I am so proud of Bubble Burster Gaming and their play. They're definitely playing to their strengths, setting up those crossfires, and gotta hand it to that Reaper pick, Climax. That might have been the right choice to deal with that pesky Winston. So Bubble Burster Gaming is gonna try to use the same strategy here. Tuba still gets a chance to set up an aerial assault on Shrine, and you've got just an impressive, impressive skybox to work with here on this map. So Farah, really good choice here. Jihoon gets to play around with their Wrecking Ball as well. This is really Bubble Burster Gaming's playground. They're looking so good.
Team CC must have been hoping to get Sanctum in the map pool next because it was much more favorable to them. But as you were saying, with all of this space to play with, this is really Bubble Burster Gaming's map to lose as they come in. Innovation on the hunt. Not up to, or doesn't get the hack off onto either target there. On the hunt again, looking for, I think that they are of the opinion that Rick is around there somewhere. They have found Climax. They're on the hunt. Just gonna follow them around for a while. Hey, Climax, what are you up to? What are you doing here? Gonna wait for you to. There we go. Not even gonna go for the hack. Just want to pile some damage in, get a bit of pressure onto Climax, and we're gonna see the dive come out. But Tuba on the hunt again. Almost has the barrage ready to go. Innovation finally deals with Climax, but Rick in the meantime gets rid of the main tank. We see Jihoon fall very low as well. Innovation gonna be coming out of that with the EMP pretty close to being on board, but Rick too will have one to play with.
Climax is a very important part of this DPS duo for Bubble Burster Gaming, so it's smart that Team CC is finding a way to target down Climax as well and force them onto that Reaper choice. Really strong hold here from Team CC as they continue to take out members of Bubble Burster Gaming one by one.
Yeah, again, Climax, I think, brave for trying to make this work. I don't think it is working. I think he got lucky in the last round, but let's see if they stick with it. Tuba has a barrage ready to go, and we've got the EMP. Those two together are a big team fight winning combo, especially as Team CC are going to be playing a little more together than Bubble Burster Gaming. There's the EMP, it hits 3. The counter EMP coming out from Rick only finds 2, and crucially, the follow-up ultimates that you wanted in on top of that weren't online because of the EMP. So we see Climax focus down. Farway has used the Coalescence already, but there's the barrage out from Tuba, finds one in the form of JWJ, gets the follow-up with the normal rockets onto Fearless. Jihoon taking Innovation down. Tuba wants to get this final kill over onto CS, so they are in a position now to flip this point. Just got to get rid of Farway, and they are going to be focused down and taken out. But we've got CO coming back in, but with that wall riding taken offline, that's going to be Bubble Burster Gaming flipping the point over.
Oh, they've got to feel so good about this point flip, particularly because they did deny Team CC from that last fight win potential, only stopping them at that 70% marks. And they also have a Mercy Valkyrie, which can do a lot to pump in some extra damage as Team C moves in with this Diva Bomb. Just got to stay out of line of sight for that. And then Bubble Burster Gaming has a couple of really good team fights ahead of them once they get those DPS ultimates online.
Yeah, nice attempt there coming out from Sia to try and deal with Tuba on the fire, but they get slept in the middle of that dive. Climax managing to get one with that Death Blossom, trying to focus down the Brigitte as well, but the Brig there saved by Fearless, throwing in that Primal Rage. In the meantime, Sia gets one with the Self-Destruct and crucially takes out a lot of the healing online for Bursted Gaming, but with the main tank down and the off-tank demeched by Climax here. Oh, who gets focused down by CO. The EMP coming out from Innovation is going to see this point flip over. Team CC in control, looking to take us to a map 3 if they can keep this up.
Well, the Mercy Valkyrie did do its job for Bubble Burster Gaming, so Tuba and Climax are going to have those heavy-hitting DPS ultimates as we enter last fight territory here for this second map of Nepal. Team CC doesn't really have too much except for that sound barrier, so got to be careful. Focus down Seal first,
yeah,
and then
Climax
get it done.
Yeah, Climax gets hacked out of the fight entirely. Again, really don't think that everything is working out for them. Fearless taken down by the barrage, but only one out of that as the dive comes in to interrupt the barrage and take Tuba out of the fight. That's going to go 100-47 for Team CC. Here we go, final map of the series, everybody, going over into Sanctum. Let's see where the dice land.
This series has been so back and forth and so exciting. We have seen everything under the sun here between Team CC and Bubble Burster Gaming. And as we move into Sanctum, I don't really know who's going to take this one. We've seen strong pick potential from Bubble Burster Gaming. We've seen an incredible Orisa synergy from Team CC. It really is anybody's game here, Phil.
Yeah, so we're seeing Bubble Burster Gaming come out with this Wrecking Ball focused 3-3 composition. And you know, there's a lot of environmental kill potential here. We've seen this work. It's run in the Overwatch League occasionally. See what happens.
Jihoon's displacement ability with that Wrecking Ball has been really on point. You can see their movement is just so artful. But on Team CC as well, you have to be careful because Innovation kind of smells that and is like, well, I'm going to play that Sombra again because that was giving you a heck of a time.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
CO gets rid of Climax. That's a huge amount of your team damage down. Already in the fight, CO playing well above head height, looking for these boops. And Bubble Burster Gaming, they are going to back out here, I think, and wait for Climax to come back in, but they're going to give over a lot of ult charge in the process. And we have seen Jihoon come in to try and keep this going, but that is going to be the point flipping over onto Team CC as they start to get these kills. A and B and Tuba taken down. This is looking so good from Team CC.
This is looking really good. I mean, they're holding them at the door right now, bullying Bubble Burster Gaming back into spawn and seeing if they need to make some swaps here. Jihoon on the receiving end again of a Sombra hack and is walking as quickly as they can back to spawn. Bubble Burster Gaming, though, will be able to walk back in here with a Zenyatta Transcendence, with that Brigitte Rally, lots of sustain, but Team CC is able to fire back with some sustain of their own. Innovation seeking out the supports in Bubble Burster Gaming's backline.
Yeah, and there is the EMP out from Innovation. Finds 3. Jihoon getting focused down a little bit there. Not a huge amount of kills coming out on the back of that EMP. Initiation comes out from Jihoon with the power driver. Fearless has the Primal Rage online, ready to go, sowing discord in the backlines, making so that people can't aim, can't focus down who they might like to focus. They've also got the rally out from JWJ. Jihoon has the mines ready to go, but CO waiting for people to come in, playing up on the high ground, wants these environmental kills, not able to find any just yet. Whilst this is all going on, we do see Sia go down, getting knocked out of things by A and B, ready to go. Climax very close to the Graviton Surge, is in a position to really capitalize on that. Jihoon once more gets hacked and sadly not able to find the focus there they might like onto Innovation, but with the EMP, with the Graviton Surge even in, that is going to be Bubble Burster Gaming taking control of the point. But Team CC, 72% capture, don't have to do much more to take this map.
No, we're in a similar position that we saw on Shrine as well, where Team CC really has last fight territory here. Bubble Burster Gaming, though, still poised to take the next couple of team fights as long as they can hold on to the point and they can target focus the way that they have been. You do have the sound barrier to be able to match the bomb on Team CC's side and see ya. And Rick able to fire back with their own, starting things off with that.
Oh, huge bomb. Beautiful placement from Rick. Takes out the supports of Team CC, who know that they have time. They don't have to rush this. They can back out. But Bubble Burster Gaming don't really want to let them. They want as much ult charge as they can get because Jihoon is going to be coming out of this with the minefield pretty much online and ready to go.
Oh, they do. I mean, Bubble Booster Gaming, this is where they can really take it home here, Phil. They have the sustain. They didn't really have to use anything except that Diva Bomb, and now they're sitting on 4 ultimates. Wrecking Ball, Jihoon, able to really keep Team CC off at this point with these hand mines.
Early pick, though. They do lose Zihi, and so they've lost that sound barrier potential, but JWJ goes down to Tuba. Also, the minefield coming up. Big tick in innovation out of the fight. Climax at about 40 energy here. Nearly falls into the pit again. Jihoon gets a second with the minefield. So Bubble Burster Gaming still holding on here as they equalize with Team CC. This is going to be so close. We've got maybe one big fight left in this game.
We do have one big fight. This is it. This all comes down to this. Is it going to be the Academy taking this home? Did they finally find their footing in this region? Or is Bubble Burster Gaming going to solidify themselves as a team to be reckoned here with this Chinese Contenders roster? Who knows? It all comes down to this, Phil. We really have 1, 2, maybe 2 team fights left. But
it's going to be down to how big this EMP was, and it doesn't get Zihi, who has the sound barrier there, but of course Fearless with that displacement ability takes Tuba out of the fight, swinging that in as far away, has the Transcendence ready to go. Climax also has the answering Graviton Surge, is what they're looking for here. We see the D-Mech come through onto Rick. CO playing for those environmental kills again, doesn't quite find what they might like, but they flip the point over. 99-75, Bubble Burster Gaming have tools to play with. They've got to get in, they've got to get in quick, they've got to get it done.
They do. I mean, like I said, 1, maybe 2 team fights. This is definitely going to be the last one here. Bubble Burster Gaming has a lot of tools in their toolkit, but Team CC, don't count them out of this fight quite yet, as Zenyatta Transcendence is going to be able to do a lot, particularly because BBG doesn't have their Ana. But can they even get to spawn?
Oh, that's
Are they even able to get to the point?
The hack onto Jihoon stops them being in on this fight, and that's gonna be Rig focused down as well. They managed to just get in. There's the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct in over the top with that. At the very least, by
Wow.
Thea finds Climax. Jihoon needs to come in and be absolutely massive with this minefield to get anything done here. Sia has to back out of that, and we've got the rally online from Tuba, but they lose Climax. Rick, D-Mech. That's going to be Rick down and out. Also, Climax going to be coming back in on the Soldier. Fearless gets a double with a jetpack kill. Jihoon gets 1 with the minefield. 99-99. Team CC coming up big with the kills. And Team CC, they complete the reverse sweep and take the series 3-2.
They actually get it done, Phil. This is the Team CC that we were all hoping for at the start of Chinese Contenders, and they're finally showing us what they're made of. I'm so impressed.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in Naori to outline exactly why we're all feeling that impressed by Team CC.
Wow, Team CC. The first 2 maps, I was like, okay, they're showing us why we didn't have too much faith in them to begin with. But then we got up to map 3, and they really started to bring it. Really abusing Jihoon's desire to never stop being on the wrecking ball. And I just want to talk a little bit about this last map. So obviously the first map heavily favored that Pharah play. Not just the Pharah, but the triple DPS in general. The crossfire created, I mean, there was just nothing that could be done from CC to deal with that. So of course BB would take that first map. What I will say about CC is they have these fantastic EMP anti-nade combos. So even if a sound barrier or something comes through, they still manage to hit 4 or 5 people with an anti-nade after the EMP has come through. I mean, it adds to their ability to absolutely destroy once they've used that EMP. Really doing well there. Then on the second map, we saw Climax with that Reaper, and while it seems like a really strange pick, it actually works well. It forces the attention away from the rest of the team and denies the front line by isolating it through doing like tons of damage. So Brig can't drop her shield. Because of this, CC is forced to split their resources when all they want to do is dive. He really denies the dive potential there, and that's kind of why it works. Add that to all of the spam damage that's coming through from Tuba on the Pharah, and you've got an absolute mess. Finally, we move on to the last map, and Jihoon's Wrecking Ball starts to make a little bit more sense. When you roll out on the 3-3 with a Wrecking Ball, it's great. It's to take space early, but it doesn't really work if your Zarya gets booped into the hole. So unfortunately, it didn't work out too well there. And overall, again, it didn't work. They still had the Sombra available to them. And CC did so well to kind of slow it down after they lost the point. Slowly but surely, get a foot in, build up those ultimates, deny BB anything that they were trying to to accomplish. The thing that I really wanted to point out was Fearless's map knowledge. When he Primal Raged, knocked somebody off, and then jumped to the other side of the outside of the map so that he could get back in without dying, because his health was exceptionally low. And that is another thing. If he had died there, they probably would have lost the map. So his map knowledge there, after using the Primal Rage, was absolutely key. CC really brought it home in those last 3 maps, and I'm super impressed.
Well, Naori, thank you very much for your contribution. We, of course, will be seeing you later on today, because that's not the end of proceedings for today. We're going to be moving over to our third and final match of the day, so we definitely need your analyses online ready to explain that. But we will be going to a fairly short break while we get things lined up and ready to move on, so don't go too far, because we are going to be right back.